Coming back from 3-1 down is really tough. And we've seen it happen a number of times over the last 25 years, but really the odds are stacked against you once you're down 3-1. The Montreal Canadiens tonight came in with the odds stacked against them, and this was a game that, they probably should have won, but one of those coulda, woulda, shoulda. So they come out of this situation knowing now that they have a superstar, Nick Suzuki. They've got Romanov coming in. And, of course, Caulfield's coming up. There are a lot of reasons to think Montreal is going to get a lot better. And soon. As soon as next year. Depending on when Caulfield gets in. Romanov will be in next year, but depending on what happens there. Now, JVR and Ghost were in for Philadelphia tonight. Belzile was in for Montreal because Gallagher was out. And that was notable, obviously. But Montreal did their best to cover for it. I thought this was a really good effort by the Habs. So, Provorov scores from Hayes at 28 seconds. And this is one of those deflections that have just been killing Montreal. That it's not a shot that goes in directly. So if you're Carey Price, you have to be going insane during this round that there's all these goals that go in. And it's not because you missed it. It's because you're set for the play. And then it goes off of a skate. It goes off of a stick. It goes off of your own player. And in this case, it deflected off of Weber, and that's your first shot of the game. So Montreal's chasing the game right out of the gate. The Habs buzzed to 2.5 minutes in. They got the next 3 shots out of that. Sherratt then takes a penalty. The Flyers go to the power play. It was a lousy power play for Philadelphia, but after it was over and it was 5-on-5, which kind of to me proves it's kind of a psychological thing with the Flyers now. Hayes scores from Grant and Pitlick at 5:23. We are 5 minutes in, and it's 2-0. Now again, that goal went in off Lekkonen's stick. So if you're Carey Price, you are now into this game 5 minutes, a little bit over, and you're saying, okay, I could have saved both of those pucks, but my own players end up deflecting it in. And so that's tough. That makes it tough as a goaltender when you're not just trying to figure out the angle, but you're also worried about your own players in front of the net and any kind of deflections. Couturier then almost had one with Price behind the net, so then Price has his moment of whoops and mishandles a puck, and Couturier almost had one. Myers then takes a penalty, and the Habs needed the power play, and they needed a power play goal. They had to answer, and thus Suzuki scores from Armia and Drouin at 10:03. So power play marker, 10:03, and Montreal was in control for most of this game in terms of getting the shots and the puck control. But Petrie takes a high sticking penalty. The Flyers go to the power play. The good news for Montreal on that, lousy power play. Just awful. The Flyers power play just did not have it going. And it's weird because, they move on, but I'm looking at the matchup between them and the Islanders, and we'll get into a preview for that tomorrow. And of course, Boston now plays Tampa. I had that board set up a couple of days ago. I knew it was going to be Boston-Tampa. So with the Flyers being in against the Islanders, they can't afford to have a lousy power play going into that series. That's not going to work. So Weber took a cross-checking penalty right after the penalty kill finishes. What this does, so the one thing about having a lousy power play is it sucks to have a lousy power play, but you're still taking time off the clock every 2 minutes as long as you're not allowing a shorthanded goal, which the Flyers weren't. Better power play, but Price was saving the day there, and JVR was getting his chances. So James Van Riemsdyk, who's had a rough return to hockey, I thought he looked good in this game, doesn't get on the board. Quieter second half of the period. So once you get past the first half of the period, the Flyers kind of turned down the volume a little bit on the shots, both for and against, and it kind of went to a quiet ending. So second period, early on, Konechny was in alone, missed the net. Giroux, he gets a slashing call against him, and the Habs go to their second power play. But now Montreal's power play doesn't come through. They don't get a shot on their chance. There was a good chance for Armia after it was over. So again, much like for Philadelphia, good chance after the penalty's done, but this one doesn't go in. So that would be 1 for 2 for Montreal, and that's it for their power plays. They didn't get any more power plays tonight. Raffle then scores from Sanheim and Voracek, and that's at 4 minutes and 28 seconds. And it's 3-1. And Sherratt kind of interfered with his own goaltender on this one. So now you could argue that there was goalie interference. Yeah, but it was a Hab that did it. So that's the 7th Flyers shot of the game, and it was the first shot they had in the second period. They hadn't had a shot till that point, and it went in. Now, to their credit, Montreal storms back. Drouin with a really nice pass over to Suzuki. Suzuki on a sharp angle. It goes in. We've seen a number of these goals go in the return where it's on a sharp angle. Otherwise, probably wouldn't go in, but Suzuki makes it go. So that's 2 goals for Nick Suzuki, your Montreal superstar. And all I could think was, I wonder how many Suzuki jerseys are being sold. Not just Montreal, but Suzuki. If you're a Montreal fan, you might be thinking about picking one up right now because this kid looks like the real deal. Really solid period for the Habs. No chances for the Flyers for the most part then. But keep in mind, it's still 3-2 for Philadelphia. So they're not getting shots, they're not getting chances. But when their chances have gone near the net, it's been deflection, and they get some help from Sherratt in front of his own goaltender. And this is the story of the game if you're Montreal. Domi takes a penalty. Flyers get their 4th power play. And it almost gets power play goal. Voracek with a chance there. Also noteworthy on that penalty kill, Nick Suzuki. His name gets on the board a lot in this series because he's excellent. This is why when I did a video, way back before the return, it's after the regular season pause, I did a video on 10 rookies that I felt were going to break through next year, and I didn't include Suzuki. Not because I don't think he's going to be great, but because I already thought he was great, and I thought he had a really good rookie season. And in the playoffs, we've seen more of that. More chances for the Habs on turnovers. This is another thing that if you're El Vino and the Flyers, you have got to get this straightened out, or the Islanders are going to run you over. So they can't be making turnovers like that against the Islanders, because guys like Beauvillier and Nelson will bury them. Absolutely bury them. And Barzal, he likes those turnovers as well. Byron then had a chance that bounced over his stick before the period ends, but it ends with a 3-2 score for Philadelphia. Third period, and I said a good 20 for the Flyers ends this. They didn't have a great 20 minutes, though, in that last period. They really didn't. Montreal played very, very well. The Flyers weren't getting shots or chances early. The Flyers were clearly trying to kill the clock, and Konechny missed the net. Konechny really has been snake bit in this game and just in overall, the top stars for the Flyers, they weren't getting the chances. And I thought, are the Flyers going to regret not trying to add more aggressively than they were? So it was get the zone and then kind of dump it. And we're not really worried about trying to crash the net and get another one. And I thought, this could hurt the Flyers, that they're just trying to play back and they're just letting Montreal have that center ice. But the shots were only 5-4 for Montreal 11 minutes into the period. And that's when the press starts. Montreal really, really pressed from there. Middle of the ice was clogged by the Flyers, but then Ulak gets a chance with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left. Petrie had a chance that was kicked aside by Hart. Remember the last game where Hart didn't look great? Tonight he looked really, really good. One thing with Carter Hart that we've seen in these playoffs is that he follows up a poor game by his standards with a really good one. So this is something the Flyers have needed for a very long time, which is a goaltender that can do this, bounce back from a bad game and play through an entire series and, win the series. That's something that Philadelphia hasn't had in a while either. There have been, including Hart, 16 goaltenders that have worn a Flyers jersey and played in a game since the last time they won a round. That was a statistic they showed in the third that I said, wow, that seems like a lot of goalies, because it's not been that long. Well, kind of. If you're a Flyers fan, it feels like it's been a very, very long time. So, 3 minutes left. Single forechecker for the Flyers as they went into a full trap. Domi had a chance to stop. The goaltender gets pulled with 1 minute and 45 seconds left. And the closest you get to something happening, they did call a timeout. They did try to press a little bit. The Flyers iced it with 10.4 seconds left, and you get worried. But here's the thing. The guy who, off that face-off, ends up killing the rest of the clock, Nate Thompson. The guy who was sold to the Flyers by Montreal at the deadline when Montreal were sellers. So Thompson helped to eliminate Montreal, played a very good series. He's not counted on for points. That's not his game. But a solid shutdown player and part of the reason why Montreal's going home. So Montreal put up a spirited fight. Very good game for them. The Flyers win the series in 6. The shots were Montreal the whole way, 10-6 in the first and in the second. In the third, 13-5 in Montreal's favor. Final shots, 33-17 Montreal. Hits were 25-23 for Philadelphia. It was not an overly physical game, which, considering what happened with Gallagher and the whole Niskanen thing and all of this, and Domi and what happened with Kotkaniemi, no. Nope. The fight wasn't there. There's no fights in the game. And this was a pretty tame game. 0 for 4 for Philadelphia, 1 for 2 for Montreal. Total of 6 power plays. Hart saves 30 out of 32. Price saved 14 out of 17. Again, I can't fault him on any of the 3 goals. And this is the first time the Flyers have won a series since 2012. So congratulations, Flyers fans. Now you get to face the Islanders, and Boston will play Tampa. We'll see how things go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. There's only 1 series left now. We'll see if that ends tonight or if we get a Game 7 on Sunday after round 2 started in the West. It's 2020, so of course. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.